First Take is presented by Freestyle Libre.
And how about them Cowboys? Happy Monday, everyone. I am Shea Cornett. We're going to hear from Greedy a little bit later on. His name's Dan Orlovsky. Cam Newton is coming. I think he's in a little bit of traffic. He'll be here momentarily. That is Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A., where's the cowboy hat? What's going on?
How you doing? Hey, just relax. Patience. Don't fall for this. I'm here for you, Shea. You'll see. It's all falling in the plan. It's all coming together. Just wait for it. We'll talk about it.
Sure. All right. Good morning.
What's up, Dio?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm feeling great, looking great. I think I'm good. Let's rock.
Like Grimace. Let's not say great.
Why you always got to do that first thing in the morning?
He always got something to say. You wish you did look this good, my brother. Let's not talk about your suit game. You just getting up there.
This is a good suit today.
Chill
Classic.
out. Classic cheap-ass shirt. Okay.
Oh my God.
Tie is nice. Suit is nice. But it's all right. Let's go.
We'll do more of this later on. I think the cowboy hat will come out. I think Cam Newton will be here eventually. I feel like Ernie Johnson, like when Shaq and Barkley come in late, but we'll see when he gets there. It was a comeback for the ages last night, though, in Dallas. My goodness. Down 21 points. The Cowboys tied their largest comeback in franchise history on the back of their quarterback. Dak Prescott threw for over 350 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also ran one in. George Pickens had 146 receiving yards and a touchdown. And Dak has now won 19 straight games at home against a divisional opponent. As for the Eagles, they looked good early, but completely just disappeared offensively late in the game, giving the Cowboys all kinds of life. So now here we are, Monday morning. Are we higher on what we saw from Dallas, or are we down on what we saw from Philadelphia, Dan?
I'm going to be higher on Dallas. I thought this was an unbelievable win at home to go down 21-0, but also just the way it looked. I think, number one, Quinnen Williams and his impact has absolutely helped this defensive line. Him and Odigizua played very, very good. 2, Overshown coming back health-wise. His speed has totally impacted the way that the defense can play. I go to the game and I go to the final drive for Philly. Saquon Barkley, who's one of the best players in football, historic season last year, has the ball out in space versus Overshown, one-on-one, gets shut out. So like the way that the defense can play, like look at this tackle in space. Saquon goes backwards. The next play, they dump the ball off to him. Overshown tackles him in space. This is the play right here. And so just the way that the defense, watch, Saquon's going to have the ball. I thought he was going to be a first down. Nope. So they didn't have that guy weeks ago. Okay, so the way that the defense can play. And then I'd also say this. George Pickens absolutely has put himself in the conversation for the best receiver in football. And I say that respectfully to Jackson Smith and Jigba and Jamar Chase and a lot of the guys that are playing a high level. What he's done this year and what he's done this last 4 or 5 weeks, you can't cover him one-on-one right now. And his growth has been big time. So I was kind of lukewarm on the Cowboys. I got to give them the respect. The way that they played and the way that they competed last night tells me that this is a competitive and meaningful football team this season.
I mean, George Pickens has been so impressive, and I remember we all had question marks heading into this season how this was going to work out. It has been very impressive how he's come along. Go ahead, Stephen A. What do you think? Are you more high on what you saw from Dallas or down on the Eagles?
Well, I'm low on the Eagles, but I'm high on the Cowboys right now. I give credit where credit is due. They're down 21-0 with 11:30 left in the second quarter, and they come back and they handle their business. From that moment forward, to piggyback off of D.O.'s point, George Pickens had more receiving yards than the entire Eagles team. Really. 132 yards receiving. That's what the Eagles gave you after they had a 21-0 lead. And George Pickens was doing his thing when CeeDee Lamb was uncharacteristically dropping a bunch of passes. So give credit where credit is due. The defense neutralizing Saquon Barkley, not being able to do much. The offense stepping up. Dak Prescott being the leader that he is, not just the quarterback that he is. You got to give credit where credit is due when it comes to the Cowboys in terms of, what you saw from them, particularly being down 21-0. I wouldn't be here singing their praises if they had just won the game. It's the fact that they were in a 21-0 hole. That is the kind of game the Dallas Cowboys usually would lose. Usually that would lead to a blowout. Dak Prescott and others would engage in hero ball. Mistakes would mount. The defense wouldn't respond the way that they should. And ultimately, you'd end up losing a playoff game to Green Bay by giving up 48 points. That's what the Dallas Cowboys would have done. This team looks a little bit different. Give credit where credit is due to Jerry Jones. You understand? You don't sign Micah Parsons, okay? What do? The Kenny Clarks of the world, the Quinnen Williams of the world, the Logan Wilsons of the world, the Overshown coming back and what have you. You've got all of that going on. Deron Bland as well. He had missed a couple of games this season. He's been back for a few weeks. You see what you're seeing from the Cowboys, and you see the level of potential. The only thing that I would say is this. People are walking around here talking about it, and Greeny himself, where the hell is he at? He's walking around acting like, oh, my God, here they come. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. They won. What did I tell you, Stephen? Well, I recall somebody named Stephen A. I don't know if y'all know the guy. I don't know. He's on First Take. His name is Stephen A. He wears these fly-ass suits all the time. I don't know if y'all know this, but that Stephen A. also went on national television and predicted that the Cowboys would win this game, because there was something I smelled about the Philadelphia Eagles that just hasn't been quite right. They look ripe to be had, and Dallas caught them. I picked Dallas to win this game. Dallas came back and won this game, but I will say this, okay? Let me tell you something right now. While you're sitting up there and you're bloviating about these Dallas Cowboys, and they deserve their credit. They deserve their credit. But this is week 12 of the NFL season. As I've tried to say on many occasions, Shea Cornett, because you're new to this to some degree, let me tell you something right now. I don't want them to fall off a curb. I prefer the cliff. I prefer the roof. And I'm telling you, sir, right now, as they climb, as they elevate their level of relevancy, the Dallas Cowboy faithful is going to get that much that's much more enthusiastic. And they're going to be led by that man, Mike Greenberg. He's going to be telling them to get up in the morning. And you watch Get Up. And you root for Get Up and Greedy. And then the fall comes. Be patient. Just wait. They will not let you down. Trust me on that. They won't let you down.
I knew the cowboy hat was going to come out. I love when the accent comes with it. Cam Newton, are you here? There's traffic in New York the week of Thanksgiving. Cam Newton, hello. Good morning. Happy Monday to you.
I came to get my slam dunk back. You know what I'm saying? What's good with you, bro?
What's going on?
Hey, bro. Magnificent.
Hey, what's going on? Happy
Stephen
Monday.
Anthony.
Stephen Anthony has got his hat on. He's ready for the day after a Cowboys comeback for the ages last night. Today, this morning, you wake up higher on the Cowboys and we're down on Philadelphia.
Down on Philadelphia. A team of that caliber, we don't expect those things to happen to them. And the thing that's alarming is the first 3 drives you score. You come out with a bang. We impose our will. The last 8 drives, nothing. And the frustration stems from when is the Philadelphia Eagles are going to put it together, all together. We see a performance like last night in Matthew Stafford, and everything's bumping. From Puka Nacua, you got Devontae Adams. Then you start to say, well, is it the offensive coordinator? Is it the quarterback? Is it the players? That's where my frustration comes in, that is because when you have that much talent and to not have one game, here we are in week 11, to not be able to say, okay, they figured it out. And that's the thing that I hold them to a standard. I'm extremely high on Jalen Hurts, extremely high on Saquon, extremely high on AJ, extremely high on Devontae. But we haven't had one game this year where we've said, okay, the Philadelphia Eagles, Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni has figured out the offense, and we're too deep into the season and we're asking these same questions.
The first half we saw it.
Yes.
We just didn't see it in the totality of the entire game.
Right.
I think Cam's point, the first 3 drives is accurate. Here's like where the Eagles are, and this is fair to say, like coming off yesterday. One, Saquon's really been a no-show this year, and I'm not trying to take a shot at Saquon. Immense amount of respect for him.
Cowboys Nation, gather around, because what we witnessed this week was one of the most dramatic, emotional, chaotic, nerve-shattering, and season-shifting wins the Dallas Cowboys have pulled off in years. This wasn't just a win. This wasn't just a comeback. This was a message, a statement, a pulse check on a team everyone had already declared dead. And it was a message delivered on primetime against our biggest division rival in a game where every mistake felt like a dagger and every second felt like a countdown to doom. down 21-0 at halftime. 21-0. And yet somehow, some way, this team fought back, clawed back, and delivered one of the most improbable wins of the season. But as much as Sunday night was unforgettable for all the right reasons, it was also unforgettable for one very uncomfortable reason. It brought forward one of the most intense public call-outs we've seen toward any Cowboys superstar in a long time. And yes, I'm talking about CD Lamb. The drops, the frustration, the lack of accountability, the body language, and then the criticism that exploded from local Dallas radio the very next morning. It has sent Cowboys Nation into a frenzy. But before we get to that, let's start where the story really begins. Resilience. Because for all the drama, for all the controversy, for all the noise around Lamb, one truth stands above it all. The Dallas Cowboys won a game they should have lost. They won a game teams with weak character, weak culture, and weak leadership almost always lose. And that's why this moment matters. That's why the criticism matters. And that's why the next game matters even more. Because what happens next will define how this team finishes the season and who steps up when the lights are blinding and the pressure is suffocating. This was a full team effort. Dak Prescott refused to fold. The defense, which has been questioned all season long, suddenly played one of its most complete halves of football this year. Sam Williams came up with one of the biggest forced fumbles of the season, a punch that ripped the ball out at the exact moment Dallas needed a heartbeat. Osa Odighizuwa came up with a perfectly timed sack that flipped the energy of the stadium and gave Dallas one more shot. And George Pickens, who's quickly becoming one of the most dangerous receivers in the league, delivered the kind of clutch plays that number one receivers are paid for. The game-tying setup, the contested grab in traffic, the ability to rise when the entire stadium is suffocating. Pickens showed up, he showed out, and he brought fire when the Cowboys needed ice and steel. But while Pickens was rising, Lamb was sinking. And that's the hard truth local radio couldn't ignore. Cowboys Nation couldn't ignore it either, because CD Lamb didn't just have a quiet night. He didn't just have a few off plays. He had 3 drops. 3! Coming off a game where he dropped 4 passes against the same team in Week 1. And one of those drops this week was a touchdown ball in the end zone. 3rd and goal, wide open. A throw Dak delivered right where it needed to be. A moment that could have changed the entire story of the game before the comeback had even begun. But it wasn't just the drops. It was the attitude, the body language, the frustration directed outward instead of inward. And that brings us to the firestorm that exploded from Shan Sharif on 105.3 The Fan when he looked straight into the microphone and dropped the line that Cowboys Nation hasn't stopped talking about since. CD Lamb is acting like a fake leader. Those words hit hard. They hit heavier because they came the morning after a win. And they hit brutally because some of what was said wasn't right. Sharif went through it point by point. The theatrics, the blame, the lack of accountability. The moment where Lamb ducked the media, choosing not to speak after the game when everyone else stood there and owned their moments. And Sharif compared him to leaders who show up even after they fail. Michael Jordan hitting or missing, but always facing the music. When the lights are bright, leaders stand up. The accusation wasn't that Lamb isn't talented. It wasn't that he isn't elite. It wasn't that he isn't capable. We all know who he is when he's locked in. The accusation was that in bad moments, he turns inward instead of stepping up. And when you're supposed to be the face of the offense, the spark of the team, the standard of excellence, you don't get to disappear. You don't get to walk away. You don't get to sulk. Because leadership is not about what you do when everything is going right. It's about how you respond when everything is going wrong. And now, after local radio has blown open this conversation, after the fan base has voiced its frustration, after videos of the drops and the reactions have circulated everywhere, CD Lamb suddenly faces one of the biggest weeks of his career. Because Dallas has a short week, and their opponent is not just anybody. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's the defending champions. It's the biggest spotlight of the season. It's Thanksgiving Day. And if Lamb wants the noise to stop, if he wants the doubt to fade, if he wants the leadership question to be buried, this is the stage to silence everything. Let's be honest. If Lamb shows up on Thursday and performs like the superstar he is, all the drama evaporates. Cowboys Nation forgives quickly when stars rise. But if he comes out flat, drops passes again, shows frustration, or disappears in the biggest moment Dallas had all season, the noise will become deafening. Because here's the truth no one is running from anymore. George Pickens is playing like the true #1 receiver right now. He is showing up in the big moments, he is making contested catches, he's setting the tone, his energy is contagious, and in the eyes of many fans, he is the most reliable weapon Dak has right now. That is why voices like Sharif are calling out Lamb, because the team needs more, and the timing could not be more critical. Dallas is fighting for their playoff life. Their margin for error is microscopic. They're sitting outside the playoff picture, and every game matters. Analysts across the NFL have said it this week. The Cowboys are playing their best football in months, but the road ahead is brutal. Chiefs on Thanksgiving, Lions after that. A tough stretch that many believe will define whether this team sneaks into the postseason or watches it from home. And this is where the story shifts back to the positive. Because despite all the criticism, despite all the noise, despite all the doubt, one thing about this Cowboys team is undeniable. They have finally shown the ability to fight back. They have finally shown the ability to win the kind of game past Cowboys teams always lose. And they did it with resolve, toughness, and heart. That is why the season is not over. That is why the hope is still alive. That is why this team can still make a run. They didn't fold against the Eagles. They didn't collapse under pressure. They didn't quit when the score was humiliating. They dug in. They punched back. They played defense with purpose. And when the moment came, Brandon Aubrey delivered ice-cold perfection to win the game. Cowboys Nation, this week is the biggest test yet. CeeDee Lamb has a chance to answer every question with his actions. George Pickens continues to look like the future. Dak Prescott is playing inspired football. The defense is turning a corner, and the belief inside the locker room is growing. The season is not dead. The Cowboys are not done. And the Kansas City matchup could be the spark that changes the entire narrative of 2025. Let me know your thoughts, Cowboys Nation. Are you worried about CeeDee Lamb's leadership? Do you believe Dallas is peaking at the right time? And can this team truly beat the Chiefs on Thanksgiving and keep the playoff hopes alive? Make sure to like the video, drop your opinion in the comments, and subscribe to Cowboys Nation Report for more daily Cowboys updates and reactions.